So he came to me and was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you. I said, you know what, man, I want to do these songs. You know what I'm saying?
See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, so, or have man, whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio.
Did you hear the latest drama between Diddy and Craig Mack? Word on the street is that Diddy straight up turned his back on Craig. We got the inside scoop from Diddy's bodyguard, Ken. Can you believe it? This isn't just any beef. Diddy, a music mogul who took Craig Mack under his wing, eventually dropped him when his success got too much for Diddy to handle. Craig was shining too bright, and Diddy couldn't take it. Trust me, this story is wild.
Shine, Craig Mack, and G-Dub. We already spoke about Shine in the last interview, so we don't have to speak on that. But Craig Mack, what was the reason for the fallout between him and Puffy?
I think it had more to do with his management. See, back in those days, bro, I think a lot of the guys who were managing and having managers, they was using guys that were close to them. They really probably didn't know the business that well. See, Mace had a manager named Cuda, and Cuda knew the business, whereas the Mace got a damn good contract on his first contract. And I was hearing that Mace's first contract was better than Big's contract. You understand what I'm saying? So now, Craig Mack manager may have known a little bit more about the business than Puff thought he should have. And Puff told Craig Mack, and I was there when he said, yo, if you don't get rid of your manager, I ain't fucking with you no more.
Let me take you back to when Craig Mack was on top. He was Diddy's golden boy. Craig was everywhere, on the radio, in the clubs, even in your mama's car. Diddy couldn't stop writing about him, showing him off like he was a star. His bodyguard told me Diddy was all about Craig, morning, noon, and night. But things started changing. As Craig's star rose, Diddy started acting a little weird. One minute, he's proud. The next, he's giving Craig the side eye. Craig was living his best life, thinking everything was perfect. Platinum records, sold-out shows, money. But he didn't see that Diddy's smile was getting tighter and his attitude colder. The storm was coming, and Craig didn't even notice.
So it was that fallout. I think I seen on one of the video shows, and you see Craig Mack like this while Big and Puff is standing up and they talking, and Puff say, yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, you know, yep, take that, yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, yep, take that, we're gonna do Craig Mack album in January. And Craig Mack did like this and looked at him like, fuck is you lying for? You understand? That's in one of that videos that circulated on the internet. But he didn't like Craig Mack manager, so he got rid of the guy who actually launched Big's career.
Yeah, I know the interview you're talking about. It was an interview with Puffy, Biggie, and Craig Mack, and they asked Puffy what was the upcoming plans for Bad Boy. And he brings up Craig Mack, and he say Craig Mack is coming out with an album. And Craig Mack, he looks at him with like this confused look on his face. But G-Dub, man, I want to talk about him and Puffy, man. What was the issue between him and Puffy?
Well, I don't know if it was a fallout or anything like that. G-Dub, him and Black Rob, in a sense, never left the streets. You know what I'm saying? And G-Dub Rob brought G-Dub to the label, and he wanted G-Dub to be his artist, but Puff took G-Dub as his own artist, made that money off him, and kicked him to the curb. So I don't think it was much of a fallout. He just couldn't handle. Puff is the type of dude, if he can't handle you, he gonna get rid of you. If he can't do what he wanna do with you, you're not gonna be in his camp. That's why he never signed DMX. And he signed the Lox, because the Lox was more comfortable for him. He thought the Lox would be more comfortable for him dealing with them than X. You know what I'm saying? So he signed people that he could deal with, and he worked with the people that he could deal with. If you're gonna be a head case a head problem, 9 times out of 10, he gonna get rid of you.
What's that sound? It's the rumble of change in Diddy's world. Just as Craig thought he had it all, a new star was about to rise. Enter Christopher Wallace, aka the notorious Big This Guy. with his massive talent, came onto the scene, and Diddy's eyes lit up like it was Christmas and his birthday all in one. Diddy was all about Biggie now, like a kid with a brand new toy he couldn't put down. The Bodyguard told me Diddy was spending more time with Biggie than he did with his own mom. Can you believe that? While Craig was out there thinking he was still the man, Diddy's attention was already elsewhere. Craig didn't see it coming. 1 minute, he's on top, and the next, he's yesterday's news. Biggie was blowing up fast, his rhymes hitting harder than ever, and Diddy was riding that wave like a pro. The streets were buzzing, and Craig started feeling left out, trying to get Diddy's attention like a kid waving at a distracted parent. But Diddy was too caught up in his new golden child to even notice.
This article by Rolling Stone about Craig Mack, they claimed that Craig Mack, he asked Diddy for money before at an event. And Diddy, he pulled out a wad of money with a smirk on his face and only gave him $100. You heard about that?
I don't know about that, but I could see Puff doing that, fronting like that. I could see that. See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come up in the studio by himself. And he would have confrontations with Puff. I mean, they talking. You understand? Puff would talk in front of all of them because he showboat. He know he ain't gonna use Craig no more. But Craig needed the money. He wasn't even using Craig to write. He wasn't even using Craig to write. If Craig needed a little money and everything like that, there was a lot of business going on. He could have either put Craig down on some projects for him to write. He wasn't even using Craig to write because he didn't want to have nothing to do with him because Big didn't like Craig Mack. And
Damn, so he just sided with Big and everything.
yeah, man. He didn't like Craig Mack.
Yeah, they also claim in this article that he filed for bankruptcy to try to leave Bad Boy.
Well, that's some legal jargon. Now, I guess he filed bankruptcy because he couldn't go no place else. You understand? He was trying to show that, you know, he didn't have no money. He didn't have nothing to pay his bills or something. That's some legal jargon that I'm not even familiar with that one, bro. But if he did it, it had to be for a purpose. Yeah, but you know that he was about to go home to death row. You know he was about to go to death row, right?
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Looking at this article, they brought that up too. They claimed that Craig Mack, he was about to sign with Death Row to get back at Diddy. They claimed that Suge Knight, he flew him out to LA. He offered him an advance for $200K in a recording budget for $1.2 million.
Well, I don't know how true that is, man, but I know for a fact Eric B was going to be the president and take over. He's going to be in charge of Death Row East. Him and Big D. You understand? Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. You know Eric B and Rakim, right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, you know that. So Eric B was going to be over Death Row East. Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. And then when Pac got killed, all that shit just went down the drain. Yeah, he was signing with Death Row East, but it was because of Eric B. I know Suge Knight cut the checks and everything like that, but Eric B had already made that, you know, that situation that was going to happen because at the time, Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. Eric B is like Hammer, one of them quiet gangsters that nobody really know about, and you don't really want a problem with them. Yeah, so Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. So if Craig Mack would have went there, it'd have been all good.
Yeah, and they also claiming that Diddy, he was trying to change Craig Mack lyrics and the way he dressed.
Well, Craig Mack was, like I said, he was his own artist. And that's why Big never recorded around Puff like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think you would get too many, like Big did like what, the double CD, Ready to Die. How many times you gonna see footage of him and Puff in the studio while he was recording and everything. Big did his shit on his own. Like when he was doing that Bone Thugs and Harmony, we was all in the studio together. Big was smoking, but Big didn't record that. Big waited about 3 or 4 days after Bone Thugs and Harmony record their stuff and recorded on his own. So none of them like to be in the studio with Puff like that, Craig Mack or Big. So I don't know how they can say that Puff was giving them ideas. You know, I've seen Puff tell people to change certain things, but I guess that's what a producer do. An executive producer.
The Bodyguard spilled more tea. He said Craig would show up at the studio ready to work, but Diddy would be in closed-door sessions with Biggie. Craig would call and leave messages, but Diddy never called back. It was like Craig had vanished. Meanwhile, Biggie's career was skyrocketing. His Digbit album Asterisk Ready to Die Asterisk dropped, and Diddy was all about Biggie's success, counting money as it came in. Craig, on the other hand, was getting no love. The Bodyguard said he saw Craig's face when Biggie's album went platinum. It was like watching his dreams fall apart. Craig started feeling left out, like he'd been forgotten. But this was just the beginning. The real cold shoulder was coming, and it was going to hit Craig hard. You'd think Diddy would stay loyal. After all, Craig helped build Bad Boy. But loyalty in the music business is rare. Craig was about to learn that the hard way, and it wasn't going to be easy.
I don't know about the 17-year-old. That's one-on-one. Or the 16-year-old. You said 17. I think I heard 16, but you normally right. But I don't know about that particular victim because that's going to be one-on-one and, you know. But that 10-year-old one, y'all, he done laid out about 2 or 3 people that was involved in that. I think he laid out a Bodyguard. And this is 2003, y'all. 2003, 2000, man, it's getting close to Gene Deal time, y'all. It's getting close to those days, y'all. But I ain't saying it, but it's getting close, y'all. He definitely got to know who this particular Bodyguard is. Now, this young guy, a young man, I guess he's a young man now, but he was a boy then. He said that he flew across town with a talent agent, right? That had a relationship with Diddy to get him in a meeting. To meet with Diddy, a 10-year-old, a talent agent. That person right there, whoever that person is, definitely will be before the grand jury within a week or two. Because they want to know, did this happen? Did you fly across the state and take him and y'all have a meeting with Diddy? A victim like that, y'all, whew, game changer, y'all. And there's too many people that's not connected to Puffy, which I believe if that talent agent did that and brought him and left him in a room alone and all of that, if that all come out to be true, and this kid can show that he been having some type of psychological issues and substance issues now and things like that, y'all gotta just stop defending Diddy, y'all. Those are the few of y'all that's in the comment section. Why you always talking about Diddy? This channel, I remember y'all used to say all I talked about was Snoop. All I talked about was Suge. All I talked about was Death Row business. Now I'm talking about something different. All you talk about is Diddy. No, I talk about whatever gonna get us some motherfucking views and whatever the hot topic is. Okay, motherfuckers? So before you waste your time typing that, if you don't like it, check the motherfucking off. I don't make you click on Bomb First channel when you see Reggie Wright face. All right, back to reality. So my only point is, y'all, that victim could be damaging. That person that transported him and brought him over there, I hope like hell it ain't KK, but that person gonna be damaging to Diddy. The bodyguards that they are naming now, you notice on both of those complaints, they all said a bodyguard took and locked them in a room. And I even think one of the persons got dismissed from the making of the band show because they didn't want to get down with the bodyguard.
You ever see someone go from hero to zero? Well, hold on tight, because Craig's about to take that fall. His second album drops, and asterisk crickets asterisk. But that's just the start. The real story is why Diddy suddenly acted like Craig didn't even exist. And trust me, when you hear the reason, your head's gonna spin. Here's the scene. Craig's excited, thinking his new album's gonna be a hit. But the only thing burning was his career. Diddy? Nowhere to be found. No promo, no support, nothing. It was like Craig had turned into a ghost overnight. The bodyguard spilled the tea, saying Diddy straight up told the team to focus on Biggie. Can you believe it? Poor Craig was left hanging, calling Diddy's office like he was trying to win tickets to his own concert. But suddenly, everyone's in a meeting. Yeah, right, more like avoiding him like the plague. The streets were talking. Craig was getting no love, no backing, just cold shoulders. And that album? It flopped harder than a fish out of water. We're talking major belly flop, honey. The charts. Craig's album couldn't even make it on there with a telescope. And where was Diddy through all this? Probably popping champagne with Biggie, celebrating their rise to the top while Craig was left in the dust.
Sick shit. Male on male. Okay, said I ain't gonna say that no more. Male on male with a kid, that's a kid. It's some sick shit, y'all. I'm sorry, it's sick. And if any of these things are true, I'm just glad there's other people now that's involved in their naming, so the grand jury can investigate and talk to these people and bring these people in. Because everybody ain't gonna protect Diddy. And that will be what I see, what I think. I'm just waiting for December, y'all. I may even push it back to before Thanksgiving, y'all. Because it's gonna be a lot of people in that New York jail. And there's gonna be a lot of people going before the grand jury. As y'all know, y'all see it's still going on. I know a lot of people are like, there's only one victim. I told y'all, that was just to get that predator off the streets so he can stop threatening and doing all of these particular things. I still stand by my bail schedule comments that Puffy or Diddy should only have a bill that one alleged victim has for that accusation. But once you get all the alleged victims, it appears going to be coming forward. I think we up to what, 23, 25 lawsuits now? Might be even a little more. I don't know. I don't keep up. But all I'm worried about is the kids and the ones that have been showing that they've been seeking psychological help, and the ones that's on tapes that just found out what had happened to them. All the ones that's coming out, even this 17-year-old young man, I wish he would have came forward a little sooner. I understand kids believe that, and I don't understand it. I know a lot of people don't understand why. Oh, I'm gonna kill your parents. I'm gonna kill your parents. I have never been threatened like that, so I don't know. But I have heard that a lot when people say, when you make threats that you're gonna do act of violence to their mother or their father, that kids shut down. I can't speak on that to talk negative on that, because that has never happened to me. But that makes me go, when I hear people say that. That's why they didn't come forward. Out of fear that something was going to happen to their parents and stuff. But it's obviously a true thing that goes on to people, because we have heard it a lot of times. So I guess I have to give people that's the reason why they don't come forward a pass, because it's not just one or two people that says that. A lot of the females that over here in Vaughn First been on my case because they felt like I've been coming down hard on victims that don't come forward. I might have to walk that back a little bit, because yeah, you're right. I've never been victimized like that, so I don't know how you know that act or how the person deals with stuff like that. That that traumatize them that way, and I may be coming a little bit too hard. But my only point is, I believe at some time, other than when a new law come out that says you can file, you can file back on the cases that they outside the statute that we thought was outside of the statute of limitation. And now that you have attorneys that putting up 1-800 numbers and all of that, now that you all of a sudden got enough guts to come out and testify or make the claims now, I just find that a little suspicious. But okay, that's.
The bodyguard told me he saw Craig's face when he realized what was happening. It was like watching someone's soul leave their body. The golden boy had turned into fool's gold, and everyone could see it. Craig started to put the pieces together, but the math wasn't adding up in his favor. But here's the million-dollar question. Why did Diddy turn on Craig like that? It's not like Craig forgot how to rap. He was still the same talented guy who gave us asterisk Flava in your ear asterisk. So what changed?
Black Rob was one of those extraordinary head problems because he could make a hit.
Mace, man, he said another line in the Oracle too that caught my attention, man. He said that you not an architect, you just a nigga that know how to market dev. How you feel about him saying that?
Self-explanatory. Self-explanatory, dog. You know, he probably made about $400 to $500 million off of Big's death. With the album, with the marketing of it, all that Missing You and stuff like that. You know, their songs and everything, the concerts and everything. And I think Ms. Wallace got like 7.7 million. I'm not for sure, don't quote me on it. But I think she got like $7.7 million for that album. Huh? Didn't it go 10 times platinum or something?
Yeah, he actually went diamond and it did sell 10 million.
So with Craig Mack, Black Rob, you know when somebody die, they re-put their music out and everything like that. And they throw a little market campaign up there so people could buy their music. They rush and buy those artists' music once they die. You understand? And the artist might sell a couple of million more than what he had already sold once he died. So that's the only thing that I could think about. He said he's marketing death. You understand? Or putting people in positions whereas that they don't even have music no more. They got.
The bodyguard told me he saw Craig's face when he realized what was happening. It was like watching someone's soul leave their body. The golden boy had turned into fool's gold, and everyone could see it. Craig started to put the pieces together, but the math wasn't adding up in his favor. But here's the million-dollar question. Why did Diddy turn on Craig like that? It's not like Craig forgot how to rap. He was still the same talented guy who gave us asterisk Flava in your ear asterisk. So what changed?
Craig Mack manager, right? Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't fucking with him no more. You understand? And they had a real big beef behind that. And Craig wasn't getting rid of his management. I guess the dude had been with him for a long time. So Craig said, yo, listen here, man, I'm not changing my manager just because you want to. Because Craig wanted his money for his music. So Puff said, yo, I ain't fucking with that kid no more. Not at all. I was right there when he said that. Told Craig Mack, you don't change your management, I ain't fucking with you.
And it got to a point where Biggie, he had a problem with Craig Mack too, right? What was the issue he had with Craig Mack? Because I seen an interview that Biggie did with Little Siege, right? And he said that he didn't fuck with Craig Mack in that interview. I never understood that, man. What was the
Craig
issue between
Mack
the two?
At the time was hotter than Big. I said this before. If it wasn't for Craig Mack's song, Big, you gotta realize Ready to Die was out for 6 months and it wasn't doing no numbers. When Big got on that remix on Craig Mack's song, and he went first on Craig Mack's song. When he did that remix, then it started been looking up for him. But Big from Brooklyn. You understand? If you wasn't from Brooklyn, Big really wasn't fucking with you on the for real.
And it's been said that Craig Mack, he was going to Death Row, right? How did Biggie and Puffy feel about that? Because at that time, they was beefing with Death Row, Suge Knight and Tupac. So, so how did they feel about that? What's that getting to him, knowing that he was about to sign with Death Row?
Now, I didn't hear anything about that, but I knew that Craig Mack was going to sign to Death Row. He was going to be their first artist on Death Row East. He was coming in there with Eric B. Eric B and Big D was going to run that label. You understand what I'm saying? So Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. He was supposed to be performing that night at, I think it's 662?
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas.
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas, the night Pac got killed. Craig Mack was supposed to be performing there at that club that night.
The bodyguard told me he saw Craig's face when he realized what was happening. It was like watching someone's soul leave their body. The golden boy had turned into fool's gold, and everyone could see it. Craig started to put the pieces together, but the math wasn't adding up in his favor. But here's the million-dollar question. Why did Diddy turn on Craig like that? It's not like Craig forgot how to rap. He was still the same talented guy who gave us asterisk Flava in your ear asterisk. So what changed?
See, what people don't understand, man, there was people that was trying to stop this whole shit before it got to that point, because I guess they realized, yo, listen to me, man, somebody gonna die behind this shit. You understand? So they tried to have that meeting, and I talked about that meeting before, where the people who was running Death Row East wanted to talk to Bad Boy, and they needed a representative, and Puff wouldn't come to the table with him. Man, Craig Mack went to his grave mad at Bad Boy. Craig Mack told his people, told those religious people, that don't let them pay for shit of mine. I don't want them to pay for nothing in my death. You gotta be mad at a motherfucker, man.
Kirk Burrows, I want to go back to this interview I did with him, right? He made a comment in this interview, and he said that Biggie and Puffy wasn't that close as Puffy makes it seem. What you think about him saying that?
I don't believe they were. I don't believe they were that close, because Big used to always clown him. You understand? But Big needed him just as much as he needed Big. And I think that it was basically just a business type situation, but they were cool. But Puff had robbed Big, and Big was robbing Puff. Those games you don't play like that with your friends or nobody, especially when there's money involved. Big learned the game. Big seen how, through his management, Puff was robbing him and had robbed him out of his publishing and his marketing. Puff seen how Big learned how to put his publishing in other people's name to stop him from getting the money that he was owed. But Big had to play the game, because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he had sold out to Puff. So you gotta be cordial, you gotta play the game. But you gotta look at the business of it. Big didn't bring those groups to Bad Boy. Did he bring Lil Kim to Bad Boy? No. Did he bring Lil C's? No. Did he bring Junior Mafia? No. He didn't bring none of his groups to Bad Boy. The groups that he had with Un. They took that shit to Capitol. You understand what I'm saying? And Atlantic.
Let me take you back to when Craig Mack was on top. He was Diddy's golden boy. Craig was everywhere, on the radio, in the clubs, even in your mama's car. Diddy couldn't stop writing about him, showing him off like he was a star. His bodyguard told me Diddy was all about Craig, morning, noon, and night. But things started changing. As Craig's star rose, Diddy started acting a little weird. One minute, he's proud. The next, he's giving Craig the side eye. Craig was living his best life, thinking everything was perfect. Platinum records, sold-out shows, money. But he didn't see that Diddy's smile was getting tighter and his attitude colder. The storm was coming, and Craig didn't even notice.
I don't blame her for what she did. I don't think it's nothing different from a lot of these people who come on here who claim like they journalists. She went to school. You understand? A lot of people claim to be journalists like you, myself. We all come on here, but who has an education in journalism? Who has an education in broadcasting? Who has an education in communication that they could come and develop a program and stuff like that? You don't have to have that anymore. You got people coming on here and they talking doing their thing. You understand? But there's none other like Wendy Williams, man. None other like her.
I was looking at an interview from Jaguar, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. She told a story about how she knows a lawyer that walked in on Christopher Williams giving Diddy fellatio for a demo deal. You know anything about that? You heard about that?
Bruh, I don't know how true that is. I've heard that but I know Christopher Williams. And I know Christopher Williams was a crazy gangster ass nigga from Mount Vernon. From up in that area, Westchester. He didn't play that shit. He kept that 3.2 or that 38 on him, and he will shoot the shit out you. You understand? He was rough with his hands with the women. And the story went on and said that a lawyer walked in the office. When she walked in the office, she walked right out, and she said it was a dude, and she said it was Christopher Williams. It was one other brother